A cliffhanger, or a whole relationship crisis. Belle Collective Season 7, Episode 10 Review. When it comes to reality TV that mixes business, relationships, and just the right amount of emotional chaos, Belle Collective continues to deliver, and Season 7, Episode 10 proves that sometimes the real drama isn't loud, it's simmering. This episode, titled, A Cliffhanger, is less about explosive fights and more about pressure building in every corner: marriages, money, friendships, and personal identity. And honestly, that kind of tension hits even harder. Let's get into it. The episode that didn't scream, but spoke loud. If you were expecting table flips and drink tosses, you might have felt like this episode was a little quieter. But don't get it twisted, this was a setup episode, the kind that plants seeds for bigger drama. Everything felt like it was on the edge. Relationships hanging by a thread. Business decisions that can't be avoided anymore. Conversations that should have happened a long time ago. And the biggest takeaway, right finger, everybody is being forced to face reality. Latrice versus Cliff. When support starts to feel like control. Let's just go ahead and say it. This episode belonged to Latrice. For seasons now, we've watched her juggle marriage, motherhood, entrepreneurship, personal growth. But in this episode, something shifted. The confrontation. Latrice finally checks Cliff, and not in a playful, we'll laugh this off later, kind of way. This was direct, emotional, honest. She calls him out for not fully supporting her business, minimizing her success, creating tension instead of being her partner. And Cliff, he gave that same energy he's been giving all season, right finger defensive. Right finger slightly dismissive, right finger not fully hearing her. The real issue, it's not just about business. On the surface, it looks like they're arguing about work. But if you really listen, this is about respect, validation, partnership. Latrice is evolving, and Cliff doesn't seem to be evolving with her. And that's where the real tension comes in. Because nothing is more frustrating than right finger growing, while your partner stays the same. The kids' conversation, a bigger crack appears. Then comes the topic that changes everything. Having more children. What could have been a simple conversation turns into a deeper issue about timing, priorities, emotional readiness. Latrice isn't just thinking about having kids. She's thinking, do I feel supported enough to bring another life into this situation? Are we even on the same page about our future? And Cliff, he's not giving clarity, he's giving confusion. Let's be honest, is Cliff the problem? At this point in the season, viewers are starting to ask. Right finger, is Cliff holding Latrice back? Because what we're seeing is a woman stepping into her power, a man struggling to adjust to that power. And that dynamic, it never ends well unless both people grow. Carrie's storyline, when dreams meet reality. While Latrice is dealing with relationship stress, Carrie is dealing with business pressure. And it's heavy. The restaurant struggle. Carrie's restaurant situation has been dragging for a while now. And in this episode, it finally reaches a point where people around her are like, right finger, you need to decide something. Not later, not eventually, now. Family pressure is real. What makes this situation even more intense is the outside voices. Especially from family. There's that tone of concern, frustration. We've been patient long enough. And honestly, that kind of pressure can either push you forward, or break you down. The emotional weight of letting go. Here's the thing people don't talk about enough. Letting go of a dream is hard. Especially when you've invested money, time, pride, identity. Carrie isn't just deciding about a restaurant. She's deciding, right finger, who am I if this doesn't work? And that's a scary place to be. Letitia and Glenn, smiling through the tension. Now let's talk about the couple that always tries to keep it cute. Letitia and Glenn, the double date energy. On the surface, the double date looks like fun, light, a chance to reconnect. But underneath, there's tension. You can feel it in the conversations, the body language, the little comments that don't seem so little. The postnuptial agreement storyline is still hanging over them. And even when they're not talking about it directly, right finger, it's there. Because once you bring something like that into a marriage, it changes the dynamic. It makes you question trust, intentions, long-term stability. Are they fixing things, or avoiding them? That's the real question with Letitia and Glenn. Because sometimes couples go out, laugh, spend time together, but never actually address the real issues. And that can be dangerous. Because avoidance isn't healing. Guys' night. When the men make it worse. Cliff hosting a guys' night should have been a moment of brotherhood, support, honest conversation. Instead, it felt like right finger reinforcement of bad behavior. The problem with the group dynamic. When the men get together, there's a certain energy, ego, defensiveness, lack of accountability, and instead of challenging each other, they kind of right finger company sign each other's behavior, which doesn't help anybody grow. Cliff's image takes another hit. If Cliff was hoping to redeem himself this episode, that didn't happen. If anything, the guys' night made it clearer that right finger he doesn't fully see the issue. And that's a problem, because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Stormy's pop-up. A glimpse into what's next. Stormy's appearance might have been brief, but it was important. Because it signals expansion, new energy, future storylines. And let's be real, sometimes new faces are exactly what a show needs to right finger shake things up. The bigger picture. This episode was about pressure. If you had to sum up episode 10 in one word, it would be pressure. Latrice feels pressure in her marriage. Carrie feels pressure in her business. Letitia feels pressure in her relationship. Even the men feel pressure, they just don't handle it well. And pressure does one of two things. It either breaks you, or reveals who you really are. And right now, we're starting to see the truth come out in everybody. Why this episode matters for the season. This wasn't just a random episode. This was right finger a turning point. Because now, conversations have been started, issues have been exposed, lines are being drawn, and there's no going back. Predictions. What happens next? Based on what we saw, here's what might be coming. Latrice and Cliff. Bigger confrontation. Possible breaking point. Or a serious reset. Carrie. A major decision about the restaurant. Either a closure or a comeback. Letitia and Glenn. The post-nup conversation coming back stronger. Emotional accountability or more avoidance. The group. More division. More honesty. And definitely more mess. Final thoughts. Quiet episodes hit different. Not every episode needs screaming and chaos. Sometimes the most powerful episodes are the ones where right finger people are forced to sit in their truth. And that's exactly what episode 10 did. It showed us the cracks, the pressure, the moments before everything changes. Let's talk about it, eyes. Now I want to hear from you. Right finger, do you think Cliff is really the problem, or is Latrice outgrowing the relationship? Right finger and be honest. If you were Carrie, would you keep fighting for that restaurant, or walk away? Drop your thoughts, because something tells me episode 11 is about to get real messy.